Garry is really preparing the move c4, as he hasn't committed his pawns yet. But I like what Garry's doing, frankly, in this opening position. I'd be very. Oh, he has played the move bishop b2. I was about to say I would have been curious about the move knight c3 in that specific position. That didn't happen. Bishop b2 was his choice.
And you're going to like the other game as well, as Wesley has played the move b5 on that board. In the other position, we see Naka steam his h-pawn down the board. In this position, as you see here, the h-pawn went down the board to trade, and the rooks have traded off, and now bishop to g5. So this position usually can start off sharp. It was indeed a kind of Dutch formation. Well, it turned into a Dutch. But this one maybe have simplified a little bit and less exciting strategically, at least for the moment. Both sides right now, both games, not wild opening lines in the positions, just solid play, but interesting play to say the least. But this move b5, quite a tricky little move. This is the Kasparov game we're seeing right here, although to the right we have Wesley. Sorry, we have Hikaru and Fabi, and now we have this position on the board.
I really like what Garry has done.
What just happened? Yeah, he just won the c4 square.
That knight on c4, particularly effective outpost in a Sicilian.
What did Wesley do?
I really like it because we can play knight d6 as well.
And by the way,
bishop's leaping to action.
Did you see that very determined way that Garry made the move d4? I mean, he played it like, boy, let me emphasize the oomph behind that one.
Isn't it amazing how Garry is outplaying these youngsters? I mean, just absolutely incredible. He's getting them every single game. Now, knight to f4, and Kasparov just leaned back like, what is that about?
No, bad move.
He does not respect that move.
Not one bit. I don't either. I just don't like this move one bit. Queen d2. Give me that tempo. Thank you very much. Get your knight out.
Wesley trying perhaps to get one piece in the defensive because he has no pieces over there on the king side with the move knight g6.
But that won't be the most important thing about the position. It's just a better position in the middle of the board for Garry, and he's played queen d2.
And that's right. Queen
that's
d2 is on the board.
Automatic. And by the way, if Wesley's not careful, this rook is going to come over to the c1 file, eyeballing the black queen. And
what do you mean not careful? He can't stop it.
There you go.
Basically can't stop that happening. He's taking on.
But instead of
he traded bishops on e4. Rook takes e4, and be careful about the rover as well.
And now
just a lot of ghosts hanging over black's position here. I don't like this one bit for Wesley. If he survives, you got to tip your hat, but I don't like it.
Yeah, he's just got no defender. So here, and Garry's just simply taken on c5.
Absolutely, because that opens up the bishop on b2 and makes the move knight d6 super attractive.
We also have
bishop
the move bishop a3 in the position.
Ooh, I like that one.
Two moves here. The engines actually
today,
also like the move rook to g4, and just as I'm saying it, Kasparov plays it. Rook to g4, putting pressure on that side as well. The main point for black is that knight on b8. That knight on b8 is terrible. The rook on a8, those pieces are out of the game. White right now can always play rook c1. And look at this, the king has moved. There was some kind of issues on the h6 square. So he moved this king, so Garry made an improving move. And now the knight leaping to g5, and Kasparov is on the attack again, and he just feels it. Look at the body posture. He's leaning over the board. He is just on the attack, and he smells it. Wesley's so in trouble.
Yeah,
this is Garry Kasparov in his element, people. This is fantastic.
So has made a move.
Whoa, queen d3.
Yeah,
queen d3. This is going to be a huge move.
Garry didn't play it, though. He played. It looks like he's moved his knight back to e4.
Yeah, queen to d3 actually allowed bishop takes knight on g5.
Yeah,
so he didn't play that move. He brought his knight back, although knight d6, the engines were given as strong as well. Knight d6 was the strongest move. Now Wesley just scrambling with this line, knight e4, queen a7. Guys, and now strategically a knight can go into d6 yet again.
Guys, what about knight f6? Knight f6.
Tricky move to be sure, but it's apparently not a prime move as far as the engines are concerned. They're seeing a knight going into d6 as strategically superior in this position. And trouble afoot. Put a knight from c to d6, and maybe on the next move you could drop a knight on f6. The position is just horrible right now for black.
True, although it looked a tiny bit better a couple moves ago, with some of these ideas like knight to d6 and keeping our knight on g5.
Guys, just a quick question. Knight d6, you know in blitz, that's the type of move that's just begging to be played as you're threatening rook g7. If you take, queen h6, rook g8, takes, and if you go back, I've got these ideas of rook g7. This is the type of tactics that Garry Kasparov is calculating right now, but guess what? He's using a lot of time.
Burning a lot of clock, and it doesn't work. Even there, knight f6 was strong. Knight f6 looked like
and he's reached for his c4 knight, but he didn't touch
actually
it.
no, because a rook takes h7 mate in that other line.
Precisely.
He needs to play knight. He needs to play quickly now. He's at 141. He's still calculating lines. What did he play?
Okay, I gotta refresh.
He moved his
my
rook
board.
into the game. He moved his rook to d1, and now he's played it.
And he's
clearly he was
playing
thinking
knight
about
f6.
that move. Yes, he was definitely thinking about it, and now his piece is sitting on the f6 square, and the Indians like it. They say that it's an advantage, the same advantage he had before, pressing now. Knight takes e5 being the #1 move for the Indian. Knight takes on e5 as being the only real move to keep the game going. Will Wesley find that move? Knight takes is, they're claiming, even forced for him.
Well,
Knight,
yeah, this rook d7 idea is just very nice.
Very
Rook d7,
powerful.
blowing up the
Ooh.
king side.
d7, queen g5, king h8, queen h6, and you're incapable of defending h7. So
You always advise your students, whenever you're on the attack, make sure you invite everybody to the party. Garry first brought his rook to d1, very instructional, and Wesley has found his only defense to stay in the game. Knight e5, we're expecting bishop takes e4.
The first knight takes on e5 was the best sequence, and he found all amazing sequence just happened, by the way. And now knight takes. Was that all accurate?
Knight, it's all been played, and f6 is on the board. Now the question is this knight on e7 far? What? Whoa! This queen f4 in the position, guys. Queen f4. Oh my goodness!
Actually, even stronger is what Garry just played. Knight to d6, dominating the board.
What
Look at
a
those
beautiful!
knights.
Ooh,
Gorgeous.
the cavalry charge.
Gorgeous play, crushing position. The
By the
knights
way,
are an a4, just an anemic move being thrown out there. There's got to be some combination swirling right now.
Absolutely.
Well,
Don't
remember when
allow
Garry
knight
was
f7
us?
mate.
remember when Garry was with us, he said that having the knights on d6 and e6 were worth 2 rooks.
Garry's down to 110 though, and b4 in that position, b4 creating a passed pawn at any point will be strong. Just create a passed pawn yourself. What is he supposed to do about b4, b5? Start marching down the board.
He's made love by driving the knight back from g4 to h6. He made it with a gain of tempo, but has he wandered?
He found it. b4 on the board.
And we can also play bishop d4 and stick our bishop on c5.
This is crushing.
Love that idea.
This is crushing.
And Wesley had to stop, Jennifer, what you were just about to suggest. Bishop to d4, bishop c5 would have been positional overkill. That didn't happen.
Because Wesley played queen b6, so now bishop d4, queen takes d6.
Exactly.
So trying to get a sliver of counterplay, but...
Very quickly, this move, rook c4, I don't know if that was accurate. I would have preferred the move b4, b5.
Yeah, but the engine's saying this is crushing. This
really?
This is looking bad for
Rook
Wesley.
H4
Because rook h4 and a sacrifice on h6 is coming fast. He needs to move his knight off of that square quickly because he's about to get mated, and he did not. He moved his queen back to d8. Queen back to d8.
And now knight c8.
How did he find that move so quick? That is the best move on the board, according to the engines. Garry just playing incredible chess on every move now.
Knight f5 has been played. Push the pawn, b5. Come on, Garry.
Now queen to c2. He's just owning the board now with his
C2?
knight.
What is that? I love that queen defending the d6 knight.
He's just controlling the board.
He's played queen d3.
I'm not sure I like these. Oh,
Let me
I
tell
like
you.
queen d3. I like
you.
queen
He's ready
d3.
to play rook h4 now again.
Garry has been playing number 1 or 2 moves by the engine every single move. He is totally in control of this game right now. But the problem is he only has 37 seconds left on his clock.
Finally, b5.
Will he be able?
I've been bishop c3, bishop b4.
And he snaggled a pawn with queen a3.
Has he allowed? No, rook b5 doesn't work. f8 is hanging. Rook b5, knight b5, queen c4, queen
we
f8.
got some more moves on the board. Queen d5, trying to get some counterplay desperately. Rook c1, Garry.
And queen c5. Queen b3. Yes, queen c5. Posting up.
He's got his queen on b4. He opted out and played queen b4 in that position.
He played queen b4, not queen c5. I've got queen c5
No,
recorded.
he played queen to b4. His queen is sitting on b4 right now.
I see.
In the game, queen to b4. And it doesn't matter. He owns the board. Everything he did so far is right. He is completely controlling the chessboard. The b pawn about to run down. The knight on d6 is dominant. He gets it. He just has 33 seconds to prosecute this advantage. He has been playing dominating chess. It looked like he could mate on the other side, but he decided to own the other side of the board. And the way he's done it, he just played very practically. And now his b pawn is just a monster. And it's over. It's just a crushing position.
Taking on a2 doesn't change anything. That's the thing. That doesn't even get him much counterplay. It's just played bishop c3. You notice how all of the pieces are pretty much defended except for that rook on c1.
Exactly.
And just pushing forward with b6, getting the other rook behind the pawn.
I'm not
Whoa,
sure.
what just happened? Gary just blundered.
Oh, no.
Gary blundered again.
Gary played the move b7 and hung his knight.
No, he was playing
overconfident.
Unbelievable blunder by Kasparov.
And
Wesley,
that's
didn't that happen
number
twice
two.
to Wesley?
Against
the same
Wesley,
opponent.
yeah. Gary playing a monster game, a beautiful, beautiful, a flawless strategic victory in the offing. And look at this. After the move, rook b8, b7, dropping the knight on d6. What a tragic mistake for Garry Kasparov. Wow. And the other game.
Well, it harkens back to that